Okay. I think I'm tired, so I want to make a real video. Um, Today was a doozy for me. All right. So, kind of had to go over this, and I want to just put it on camera. I'm going to load this on YouTube. So maybe somebody else can make sense of this. So I guess, yeah, make it make sense. All right. So long story short, my son plays water polo. Not my idea. My ex-wife, she decided to sign him up for water polo. I don't know why she thinks it's cool. Regardless of my opinions, I think she thinks it's a high society sport. So that's why she went with it. I don't know. I'm not here to bash kids that play water polo or the sport, or that the most decorated Olympic person, the best male water polo player of all time, his net worth versus, it's not that great. It's not like he's, at the, 10, 15 million mark. He's, single digit, maybe millions, if that. So this is not a money sport. So I'm just so confused as to why we even got into the sport to begin with. But my ex-wife keeps asking me for money and my family for money to invest in my son in playing this sport. Now, she out of nowhere decided to sign him up for this sport. He didn't say, oh, I want to play water polo. He's currently playing basketball. He does flag football. He did soccer last year. So if I asked him who's his favorite player, he's going to tell you probably Mahone. We'll go on that later. But he can tell you who scored what his fantasy football team is doing. If Tyreek Hill got enough yards for his fantasy football team, he can't name me one water polo player. And he plays the sport, been doing it for over a year. Can't name me one, has never watched a game, doesn't know who's the best, doesn't know who the best college water polo college team. We're going into this is an Olympic year. He can't tell me the starting roster or anything, as no American on the planet can tell you anything about water polo, because it's like the WNBA. Nobody cares. So let's bring this back. So she wants to sign him up for water polo, and she wants me to pay for it. And so now water polo, because it's in a pool, there's only, you have to have a pool to do it in. So roughly, it costs roughly $5,000 to be on a travel water polo team. Mind you, he's only 13. So $5,000 plus travel to all these venues. They have a tournament in Orlando. They have one in California. They have one in Connecticut. There's a training seminar that's in Spain. Yeah. Still missing out on this, but let's move on. So this is very expensive. So this is roughly going to cost $5,000 just to be on the team. So plus travel and all this, we're talking about a $7,000 to $8,000 a year venture. Okay. And so she's telling me this as, hey, well, he can get a college scholarship to this. So it's $7,000 to $8,000 a year. If we invest this in any of the S&P 500 stock, let's just say Apple, for example, buy some Apple stocks. He's 13, 4 years of this. By the time he graduates, is ready to go to college, we would have the tuition to pay for him to go to the University of Maryland, which is a pretty decent school. And if his grades continue where they're at, and his SAT score is decent, he can get into. Or he can go to my lovely alma mater, Florida A&M University. Shout out to HBCUs. Once again, all can be covered by this money. So I'm going to get into how we're actually going to pay for his college tuition later in this. But we're just solely on him spending $8,000, investing $8,000 a year into him, with the hopes that he gets a college scholarship. So I went on this I went and looked up water polo and college scholarships and the chances of playing in college. And so I went to there's all kinds of websites, of course, you can Google anything. So I went to scholarshipstats.com, pulled up water polo, and then found out that roughly 90 freshman college students, male students every year, 90 in the country, even get scholarships. And then it goes on, only 125 schools in the country have water polo teams. 50% of them are junior colleges. 75% of them are only in California. 75% of the high schools that have water polo teams are in California. Mind you, we don't live in California. We live in Maryland. The only water polo teams in Maryland or Virginia, schools, they are all military schools where I think tuition's kind of free anyway because, you have to go in the military and serve for the country. So moving on. So long story short, there's no schools in Maryland, Virginia, DMV area that have water polo teams, period, colleges, period, that aren't military based. Then we start looking at odds of getting a scholarship. So since we talked about, first of all, there's only roughly 50 schools, 60 schools that even give out scholarships. Ironically, they give out more female scholarships than men's scholarships. It's a whole nother conversation. But if he played on a high school water polo team, which I don't know what water polo team there is in the state of Maryland for high school that's not private, because if you have to pay for him to go to a private school to be on a water polo team, that also circles back to this whole return on investment thing. But basically, when he gets to high school, his school that he's going to be at, per his height and current weight and what he should be, so on and so forth, him making varsity football should not be a challenge for the high school that he's currently going to go to. Just saying, I've gone to their games, watched them play. Not going to be an issue making varsity high school at his current high school playing some position. Is what it is. These are just facts. Gone to the games, is what it is. But so once he plays high school football versus playing high school water polo, he has the same chance of getting on a college roster from playing football or water polo, which also is the same chance but they do more they do more scholarships for football compared to water polo. So so he has the same chance of getting on either team, but they do way more. I think it's something ridiculous in numbers. It's in 50, 60, something thousands of scholarships for football versus water polo. Water polo, they're only allowed 4 scholarships per team. And once again, I already went over, only 50 teams give these out. So that's how I roughly did some math and say there's only even 90 kids, freshman kids even available. And based on how many students per school, unless you're the best player at your high school, you don't even have a shot. So I have been to some of his practices and games, as have my family members, and he's not the best one on the team. I know it takes a lot as a parent and as a person to dig deep and look inside and say, you know what, I'm not the best one at this. But he's not the best one of the best kid on the team. Their parents were swimmers in college, so they come from a swimming background, and I believe he quit the team to concentrate on swimming, because I'm pretty sure the parents know that there's more money in that sport and scholarship money in just swimming. We all know who Michael Phelps is. Nobody knows. Why don't you, if you're watching this, please Google and research who the number one water polo player of all time is. Nobody knows. Nobody's watching. We'll be watching Simone Biles, or what's her name, Simone Clark now. We'll be watching her at the, or Simone Owens, something like that. We'll be watching her at the Olympics, not the water polo team. All right, so I've gone over stats. with how hard it is to get a scholarship for water polo. Now let's talk about if he does get a full scholarship, or what a full scholarship is. So the majority of the schools, like we'll take Pepperdine for example, we'll throw them out there. Their tuition's $50,000 a year. Their water polo average scholarship across the 4 that they're allotted is $25,000. So that means essentially if he does get a scholarship from Pepperdine for $25,000, the tuition's $50,000. So who's going to pay the other $25,000? Looks like that's not going to be a full ride scholarship. He's going to need to get the money from anywhere else, from other places, and that's at $25,000. Now, mind you, this Maryland, to go to the state of Maryland, tuition there, $12,000 a year. So we're still upside down in this venture for him to go to Pepperdine on a water polo if he is the best in the nation. Because once again, there's only like 4 or 5 schools that even kick out that much money. But every school that kicks out $25K, their tuition is $50K. So very few schools on the stats list even give out enough money to cover the tuition. So still trying to make it make sense. He gets a scholarship, but it's not enough. So I'm still paying for his college. So I pay $8,000 a year. He's 13, X amount of years, pay that for 5 years. That's 8 times 5. Ooh, boy, I'm doing the math here. It's hurting my head. That's $40,000. So $40,000 a year to get him a scholarship that, let's say it's worth $20 a year, but the tuition is $40 to $50 a year. This is just not adding up. Just not making sense whatsoever. So I send all these stats to the ex-wife. I'm like, maybe we need to put him in something else. Maybe we need to reconsider. If you really want to keep him in water polo, have at it. You make enough money, pay for it. No problem. I have other things and hobbies that me and my son do that I support. Everyone knows I love racing anything, whether it be RC cars. Motorcycles, not first thing. We tried that, bought him a bike, didn't go too well. But hey, we do RC car racing, we do cycling. He's currently playing basketball. He likes flag football. In high school, he can pick up football if he wants. He did soccer for years. Later, we'll get to his only championship winning season was when he did soccer. So let's move on to, so I sent this very good email I'll show you some of it, that's filled with all kinds of stats and numbers and all kinds of lovely things about why investing in water polo at this number doesn't really make sense. If you invest in something like football, it's a lot less expensive for the parents. He does it in high school. We're talking about something that costs $1,000 a year versus $8,000 a year. All right, so then let's move on to the email response that I got. So maybe I should just read the whole email, the email response that I got back. So after I spent some time typing this up, and so her response was quite an elaborate response to justify supporting only what you're interested in. It's sad because our son is in the best shape of his life, getting all A's and happy. You can't see past yourself. But the real question is why I'm surprised. Ouch. I will continue to do all I can for my son and daughter, or daughter, I won't get to that because we're not talking about my daughter right now. I've never played water polo, so this isn't about me. Okay, we'll cover that also. Your mom and your sister, I should expect nothing from either, since either of them, considering your track record when it comes to also justifying all that Tony, does to damage people around him. So not damage people. Have a wonderful day. I'll share the lack of support with my son. Woo! Okay. So the response didn't tackle any numbers, nothing to do with any numbers or anything realistic that we went over here. but we got a lot of signing. So signing, shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right. Shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right. So I wanted to quickly go over this response email. So first it says, first, quite an elaborate response to justify supporting only what you're interested in. I mean, here we go with some need to be right and some guilt. I do support water polo. I've taken them to practices. I've taken them to games. I've done research about the rules, who's the best player. I've also researched this college stuff, which she has not done. But most importantly, since we're talking about, this is a sport. And in sports, there's one thing that's important, that's winning. So she's never won anything in her life. And unfortunately, most people never win anything. But I'm pretty competitive in anything I do. So even with my son, he has won a championship. And I was kind of the coach, assistant coach when I was assistant coach when he won his championship. So the only thing he's ever won, I was assistant coach of. So I was there for every practice, every game. When he won his only championship as far as winning. So when it comes to winning, this is when we can kind of pause the video and talk about how, we all know how we go about, how we like to win. We win. We win in whatever we do. Winning but a lot of people don't know how to win. I preach that to, now I'm into cycling. Lots of fun. I'm on a cycling team. And not the best person, kind of old, 46 years old to get into cycling. So pretty old, but I still try to bring to my team the resilience, and I try to explain to them, hey, winning is winning. And, some people, when you meet people that have never won anything in life, getting them to win, turn them into winners sometimes is rough because they've been losers for so long. But I digress. Next sentence. It's sad because our son is in the best shape of his life, getting all A's and happy. Okay, so I agree he's happy. Best shape in his life. I love my son. He might be in the best shape of his life. But once again, who cares if he's in the best shape of his life if his competitors are in better shape? If they're faster than him and better than him, it doesn't matter what shape he's in. Doesn't matter. Once again, doesn't matter what shape I'm in if I'm competing against somebody that's better than me. That spends more time, they spend more time getting in shape than me. It doesn't matter. So this is, my son is in the best shape of my life. That's, of course, something that can be spoken by a loser, because something a loser would say. A winner would say he's in the best shape of anyone on his team. And to get a college scholarship, he would needs to be in better shape than anybody in the DMV. So when I talk about, racing and this and that, I'm quick to say, I'm a multi-time state and regional champion. State, meaning best in the state. Regional, meaning best in the region. So I drop that all the time. So I'll let you know that, no, I don't care about being the best in my city, my little county. So first you got to win county. Then you can win city, depends on what city you're in. Then there's state, then there's regional, then there's national. So, and have competed in the national, and we'll go over that later. It's not about me. This is not about me. This is about this ridiculous signing. All right, so then it says you can't see past yourself, but the real question is, why am I surprised? Now we're signing and guilting me. That's just a quick insult. Won't go into that. That's clear. I will continue to do all I can for my son and daughter. I never played water polo, so this isn't about me. Okay, so more need to be right, more shaming. Why the daughter's brought up, once again, she's not even involved in this whatsoever, unless it's just spending potential college money that we could be spending on her and wasting it on these water polo coaches that are just getting, the money grab that's going on here. You never played water polo. So then why would you pick this sport? You know nothing about this sport. You don't know what it is to be successful in this sport. So why you pick the sport? You've never played it. You've never dealt in it. You know nothing about it. You don't even know who's good. You don't know anything about it. You don't even know the rules. So why would you pick the sport? Simple. Makes no logical sense. Then we move on to, then she attacks my mother and my sister. She expects nothing from them because they support me and I damage people. I don't exactly know who I damage, why damage. I mean, how am I damaging my kid? I really don't get that one, but that's sign, insult, guilt, all wrapped up into one. Have a wonderful day is with her. So she closes it out. Have a wonderful day. I'll share the lack of support with my son. Wow. So after all this, then she threatens to shame me and my family to my son. That's the end of this. Wow. That's pretty bad. So all this is about him playing water polo to get his college scholarship. Now, she doesn't know this. My kids don't know this because I want them to still work and understand that they do need to get scholarships, academic scholarships. I'm a full believer in academic scholarships. I'm a believer in college. I went to college, undergraduate degree and graduate degree. Everybody in my life, my sister has college. Everybody, my sister, mom, college degrees, graduate degrees. Sister has multiple degrees. Even the ex-wife has multiple degrees. And then, yeah, women that I date all happen to have, yeah, that's the thing. Got to have a graduate degree. You know, it just is what it is. You don't have to, but it's just things that, so I am really, really big on education. So I want them to continue to try. Not going to tell them that their college is paid for, but their in-state tuition to Maryland University is already paid for. So there's already a West Fund paying for their college tuition, ironically, which is, this is all about getting a college scholarship to, you know, for whatever reason, and it's already paid for. So I'm kind of going to wrap this up, but at the end of this, just because this is just a pure money grab and this is about money, I will make this out. I will say, so whatever scholarship he does get offered because of this, minus, you know, this lapse in tuition, because, you know, if he gets one for 20 and the school's 40, well, what are we talking about? But this full ride scholarship that he's talking about, I will say to the ex, keep all the receipts, because if he does get the scholarship, I will refund you back half of whatever that scholarship is. So I will put my money where my mouth is. And sorry for the quick cut. My producer that just walked in says, yeah, but anyway, long story short, the money is here and posted, available. We'll cover half. Money's posted. It's there. I have to edit where I, you know, was going to show you where the money was at. The account that was at for legal reasons. But yeah, money's posted. Gotcha. All right. Make It Make Sense Radio, over and out.